For most of its history, Qantas has been unassailable, one of those iconic and much-loved Australian companies. But it's going through a tough time, with bitter industrial disputes last year causing management to briefly ground the airline. In the 4 years that Alan Joyce has been the CEO, the Qantas share price has halved. Today, the bad news continued, with the national carrier posting its first annual loss since it was fully privatised in the mid-90s. Qantas management is confident its strategy to get Qantas back in the black is on track, and shortly Alan Joyce will join me. But first, this report from Greg Hoy.
Even announcing a 90% fall in net profit today and the first statutory loss for Qantas in 17 years, Alan Joyce was endeavouring to look on the bright side.
We are financially strong, profitable at an underlying level.
He blamed the large losses on the soaring dollar, fuel prices and the drag on profits of Qantas International. But Alan Joyce claims the airline is slowly turning the corner.
The benefits of our transformation program have started to come true.
So is the Qantas chief's air defence a fair defence?
We've got the first loss in 17 years for a management who's completely lost their way.
The reality is it is a statutory loss. That is the true result of the company, and we believe the management and board should be clearly accountable for the company's performance and its result.
And it's not just shareholders, it seems, concerned how Qantas portrays its profit and loss. Former senior Qantas executives have also voiced their concern to 7:30 about the credibility and transparency of Qantas accounts, endorsing the protests of others.
Why has it taken so long for everybody to realise that the international business of Qantas could well lose $500 million this year? It was 2 or 3 years ago they were saying it was losing $120 million. And really, no one really knows where the costs were being allocated.
We know that there are quite a few organisations and quite a few accountants going through the Qantas results, and it does appear that the disclosure is very difficult to understand.
There is also strong concern, including amongst former executives, that the airline tries to shift as many costs as it can away from its low-cost carrier Jetstar and onto the books of Qantas. The aim, the critics claim, is to bolster Qantas's campaign to slash labour costs and to boost that side of the business with the least government regulation.
They'll do pretty much whatever it is they have to keep Jetstar looking as profitable as it possibly can.
Aviation unions also claim Qantas cooks the books to enhance Jetstar and justify cutting staff or their conditions at Qantas. Qantas pilot Captain Brad Hodson.
The law does require them to really be transparent, and really I think we'd say at this particular point in time that's not the case.
They've put all these costs on their Jetstar expansion, operations that aren't successful overseas, onto their international Qantas arm, and they're trying to say that it's everybody's fault other than the executives who have paid themselves an 82% increase in executive pay in the last 3 years.
Dr Tony Webber was chief economist at the Qantas Group from 2004 until last year.
What I do think has happened is that Jetstar enjoys a number of services that they don't actually pay for, such as the legal department, corporate communications, investor relations, all of those overheads, back office overheads.
Dr Webber believes this is for accounting convenience rather than deliberate deception. Qantas now says it will split its domestic and international arms into separate management teams but under one corporate umbrella, leaving many suspicious about the transparency of Qantas accounts.
Until Qantas is split into 2 separate companies with 2 air operator certificates, just like Virgin is today, the Australian investment public will never know how the business is travelling.
With industrial tension still simmering, Alan Joyce has just offered to forego his bonuses that last year lifted his remuneration by around $2 million to almost $5 million, salting the wounds of Q catering staff in Adelaide, who say they've been in limbo for 6 months, waiting to hear when their jobs will be axed.
Many of them have been there for decades, finding their wages, their job security being slashed and burned, And to find Alan Joyce saying that he may forego a bonus, now he should be handing that $2 million back, and he should be taking a 62% decrease in income in line with what the shareholder value drop has been in the last 3 years.
Who would want to be the head of Qantas? Well, actually, while Qantas remains on the defensive, its key competitor, Virgin Australia, is on the attack. Qantas defector John Borghetti, who was overlooked for the chief executive's job that went to Alan Joyce, has now turned on his former employer with a vengeance as Virgin's chief, dragging the budget carrier up market.
He seems like he's doing a number on his good mate Alan Joyce at the moment. He's taking some market share away from him. He's expanding very, very quickly.
Qantas has pursued what we term risky ventures into Asia, Red Q, Jetstar Pacific. Pretty much most of those things, they spent a lot of money, but there's no return on capital there.
Aviation unions recently surveyed staff at Virgin and Qantas to ask if the right management was running the airline.
85% of employees do not have confidence in the direction that Qantas is taking. And when you compare that with their major competitor in the domestic market, Virgin, there's only 1.5% of employees at Virgin do not have confidence in their management.
But it's not just unions beginning to ask if Qantas should remain in the hands of current management.
Management have failed to articulate a clear path into the future.
Unfortunately, it appears the current management doesn't seem to have an answer for what's going on.
Private equity guys out there are looking at the numbers very, very closely. There might be an opportunity to buy and carve up Qantas, as they attempted to do a few years back.